And Mark is here, which means there will be demos. Because if Mark shows up...
Not this time.
What? Why are you here then?
Yep. But next week I will do a demo then. If you.
Okay, warming up then. And next week you'll fix your microphone because I can barely hear you. I don't think it's...
Okay, sorry.
Oh, now it's better. Maybe you are far away. Or
Yeah,
I just increase the volume, so we'll see if someone else talks.
Doing the laundry, so I'm far away.
Okay, awesome. Laundryman. Last week, what did you do? We had demos from the Buzz team. And maybe we'll have more today. 11/25, 2025. Okay. And Antoine forgot to remind me to start the game. So give me 1 second. I need to start the game on my phone so I can see the scores while I talk to you. That's how I do stuff.
What game?
Okay. What?
I asked what game.
So many games. It's Champions League Day, so there is games everywhere. Pick your game, pick your team, pick your city. Like, yeah. Whatever. So, today, demos. Who will do some demos today?
So I demoed the HTML editor last week. I've got the PR ready, but I haven't really got anything new to demo. So that's full disclosure on my side of things.
That's okay. We'll look at the PR on Thursday, probably, unless we have time today. Team editor.
I haven't put the PR.
Yep.
Sorry, I haven't put the PR in yet, so I'll put it in.
Don't worry. Okay, don't worry.
I've got a small update about the blocks. Obviously, what we discussed last week. I've kind of gone a bit of a different approach based on what we spoke about, so I can share sort of progress on that.
Okay. We'll check that. Anyone else? I don't know if I have demos. I don't think so. Topics, questions? Let's start with status then. This page. Orchard 1, what's happening? We have Benedek and we have Gabor, the two people working on Orchard 1. That's good because well, Milan is here, but why don't I see more than that? Because I have filter.
No, I think that's it. The pull requests were opened from our fork.
Oh, that's why. I see a lot
That's
of
why you don't
activity,
see
but
them.
it's okay. I see
Exactly.
these are commits on the pull request. Okay, good. Yeah, lots of activity. I don't know what you are cooking, but so much work is done there. That's weird. It's concerning.
We are cooking 1.11.
Okay. Array.empty, but it's full framework. Maybe it's not there, but maybe it's there. Array.empty, I'm sure it's there. What is that? New list. Or maybe it accepts a list, but maybe it's a list that you need. Okay. Create a singleton immutable list. Oh yes, immutable list dot new immutable list or dot instance, that will work also. It's stupid, but yeah, I mean, at that point, doesn't matter. But just a reflex, mostly. Okay, so I let you do your thing, but apparently you know what you're doing. 18th last week.
I'd like to think so. Yes.
We trust you. We believe in you. So what's happening here? So can I remove that? Where is it? Copilot. And if I ignore the copilot, okay, now it's cleaner. Add the possibility to set a default alignment and alignment inheritance. So this was merged. A new feature. We don't see the screenshots here. Maybe I can show it. 18.5.19. 18.5.19. Nope. That's the name. Okay. So the fact that now in the flow widgets, when we define the alignment, we have a fifth option, inherit, that will keep the value that is set on the parent. Okay. That's a new thing. New contributor, parameter limit for recent blog post. Oh, it was forced to 3 by default. But you can change the query if you want. But now there is an argument. I'm confused. Do we want to let the limit be changed? Because if this query is available as an API, then anyone can change the limit. Is that an issue? Maybe we should have an upper limit. So you can set the limit, but we will still block with some value. I'm not sure we can do that with the syntax, but maybe that's a risk. So let me comment on that. What is that widget? Is that something we support? Like for queries, we can have widget, query widget, something like that, and provide arguments? What is that thing? Or is that something
It's
they did?
his own.
Okay, so they did a custom
Yes,
widget,
yeah.
you pass a
This
name.
is just assembler.
Okay. Yeah, so we do expose queries automatically on the UI, right? On the UI, on the API. Let's see. I want to create an issue for that, if I'm right, that we expose that automatically on the query string.
There's at least a permission required to do queries, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we need the permission at least? Okay.
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
Well, and you know what? We can already do a limit because it's actually a liquid template. These queries are liquid templates, so we could validate the value in the liquid template and just limit the limit by resetting the value in the template. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And hopefully it's something like the limit is available as a value. So we could just say assign liquid equals liquid, something like max or between. I think there is a between. There must be a way to do that, like max, something like that. Then I think there has to be a way to limit, to bound the value. Okay. Computer fix update minor dependency versions. Breaking change in parlot because that should not be in the scanner. So it's not anymore. And the solution is to just, to validate the name, is to try to parse something with the name. And then if it doesn't parse, then it means this is not the correct shortcode, just for validation. This should be static. I mean, that doesn't matter much. It's for validation, but still this should be static. It takes some resource to create a parser. Parsers are thread safe, so this should be static. I will comment on the things so someone sees that for sure. Way. Also, there must be already a parser. There has to be a parser somewhere that we can use because we do shortcode validation, so I'm confused. Why instantiate a new one? No, there isn't. How do we do that then? Nope. Shortcodes. shortcodes. Services. That's this thing that was probably. No, maybe it's in the project. Or maybe that's that should be used, the iShortcode service. Let's see. Because this must be defined as a singleton, maybe. Nope. Nothing is a singleton here anywhere. That's concerning. Should look into that. What else? Update description for distributed tenants feature. Okay. Dependencies and the sharp and log and stack exchange. Cypress. Fix selecting media in Trumbowyg editors. George made the first item to be selected by default.
No, that's another PR.
That's not this one then. Ah, you just
I don't
fixed
know
it.
when it broke, but the media selector in the Trumbowyg editors doesn't work at all in main branch because I was not defined.
Nobody's using that. They all use the Quill.js editor now. It's better.
Looks like.
Now.
No comment.
Yeah, you like it, right? It will work. Well, George will test it and find the bugs. Prioritize format over quality. So something that George reviewed also. The issue is that when we process media files, like all these commands, resize, format, add background, all the things, change quality, change all the things you want. There is a pipeline for that, and you can do it by query string. The issue is that these things are defined in the query string, and you can't apply all these commands in any order because the order will matter. And apparently, formatting before changing the quality or changing the quality before formatting or changing the format matters in terms of what you get in the end. Like you want to change the format once you have changed the quality. Otherwise, you might change to a format that loses quality and then you change the quality and it's too late, right? Something like that. So this PR makes the order deterministic. Whatever you set in the query string, it will always run one after the other. So it's a lot of changes that are required. That's right, George. Did I understand correctly?
Yeah, it's actually image sharp, which needs or which allows to use a specific order of query strings. So you can reorder the query string whatever you like in image sharp, but this has to be a specific order. Otherwise, the quality will be overwritten or the format will be overwritten.
So this is passing some things. There is no specific order because it's just
Yeah,
property.
it was using a dictionary before, and inserting into a dictionary doesn't guarantee that the order is the same if you enumerate over it.
Yeah. Unless you use a sorted dictionary.
Yeah, or an ordered dictionary. But now we have
Order dictionary. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and now we have the separate media commands class, which also guarantees that, and it's more specific.
Quality at the end.
Yeah.
Cool. On to unfixed pluralization because you need to use whatever number is here. That could be 0, for instance, 0 item. That could be 1 item, and not just 1 when it's a singular in some languages. So we use a 2 values form, okay, in English, and that's compatible with other languages like French, Spanish. But some languages, even if they use 2 items, maybe 0 means plural, and maybe 0 means singular in this language. So now whatever the value is, we use as a placeholder instead of saying, oh, this must be 1, the singular. No, maybe 0 is also singular. So you can't just say 1. It might be 0. It might be 2. I don't know. So it's fixed now. And it's breaking all the localizations that are updated here. But at least it's fixed. Fixed culture filter for case-sensitive databases. The issue being that in the admin, when you filter by localization, it might not work because the query was not done on the culture as it is, like en-uppercase U uppercase S, but in the database, it's always normalized to lowercase. So the query, if your database collation is case sensitive, would not work. Now it will check the lower invariant value everywhere it needs to. So 21, let me double check here. So we have everything in bold. What, at least more visible. Preselect first thumbnail in media fields when allowMultiple is false. That's what I was mentioning. This time it's when you open the media editor and you can select only one, the first item is selected. If there is only one item, it's selected. That's the real thing. If you add an item, it is selected. Beautiful. Good.
Yeah, I still want to have this gallery field editor, which someone made, but PR is abandoned.
Someone is here.
That was me.
Oh,
hello.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. It was just before Prague, and it was yeah, I put it on the back burner, and I just never got round to completing it. So yeah.
Yeah, maybe you just can give us permission to edit on your branch, so we can fix the merge errors there.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, usually PRs automatically by default allow the maintainers to modify, or yeah, whoever has access to the target repository to modify the PR, but apparently your PR doesn't allow that. And that's something you must have changed because by default it is allowed. And it's not on the PR itself, it's on the settings on the, yeah, probably the fork settings or something like that.
I'll check that.
Do not use async void. Nope, don't do that. Just block. Yes, there is a get settings async if you need that, but in the startup, do not use that. And the not one will block get result, and that's fine. So that's good. Update and KDocs requirements, update non-breaking dependency versions. Again, AWS, it's been a while. More updates, C#CodeStyle 5.0. So we have better style apparently. Check out all the actions. Okay. These ones too. Backport. Okay, one backport. Oh, the quality / resize stuff is backported to 2.2, and there will be more stuff probably next week related to OpenID that I think we agreed on what the solution will be. Simplified ResizeUrlFilter. Simplified. How is that simpler? So far, it's the same thing, just more comments. Now, no code anymore. Oh, example. Okay, never mix names and index arguments. Okay.
No, the variable was set twice to the same value.
Okay, names any. True. True. Set before. Okay, yeah, for the same thing. Not null here. Otherwise, names any. Yeah. Okay, that's some refactoring and forgot to remove the refactor the code. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you find it? By reading the code during the PR?
Yeah, during the backport. I saw that I missed it in reviewing, but I haven't checked it in 2.2.
Should we blame whoever accepted the first change here? Did you look at it?
Yeah, it was myself, so
okay, good. Okay, good.
I fixed it because I messed it up.
Remove unused System.Linq.Async because the net10 doesn't require it. The things that we were using from System.Linq.Async, like iAsync enumerable for each stuff, extension methods on iAsync enumerable are part of the net10. And yeah, and that was the check, so that's good. Removed every. Use LinkGenerator instead of allowMultiple factory. So apparently we should always use, and we can always use LinkGenerator. Ensuring that we pass the HTTP context in the LinkGenerator. And the thing that we still need to check is that when we call that, the area is taken into account and is available in HTTP context. Or maybe we can force it here.
Yeah, we said it explicitly.
In the HTTP context, we set it, that's what you say?
No, in the routes values, in the next PR.
Okay, but
I'd
like to know
just for safety.
For safety, but I'd like to know if in this case it was necessary or not. That would be interesting to know that it's already in the HTTP context because some condition, whatever, just to be sure.
It is, but it should work before. But now it's, I think we do it everywhere else. We pass the area explicitly. So I updated this as well.
Okay. Okay, that's the next PR. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, that's probably a convention we do. I always set the area. because maybe it's not from the current request. There is nothing like this. So
Yes.
And add unpublish and delete buttons to content item editors. Do we have a screenshot with that? 18.5.40. Yeah, we have a video. So publish, unpublish. Publish, it's published. Okay. And probably the drop down is and continue. So publish and publish. So this item is published, so I can unpublish.
Shouldn't we have these buttons at the top as well for like very long content item editors?
Yeah, absolutely. I want that. And we have some other pages in the editor where we already have sticky actions bar at the top.
Yes, we should do the same as the things that we already have at the top. Because this has been, there were some discussions about it, long discussions about how it works, where it should be, what actions, when. So we should do the same thing as the other pages then. If it's more than one page, you need more tabs, and this way it's always fitting in the page. Okay, we'll see why it goes, but I'm sure there is an issue created for that because people must have had that problem before.
We have this project about the admin, renewing the admin dashboard, and I don't know what's the actual state of it.
Did we actually start something on Node.js, or was it on Node.js 1?
Is this the redesign or UX improvements of the dashboard?
Oh,
yeah,
there was something that was driving something.
Yeah, I think that's stuck, so we need to do another round of planning for that.
Yeah, we haven't heard from the designer for months, so
yeah,
Yeah, Nick and I were keen to get involved with that, so we spoke to Zoltan at the Harvest conference, and hopefully we can get involved.
Yeah, that would be great actually. And also you mentioned Tailwind, so that would be even better.
You've got Nick excited now mentioning Tailwind.
Yeah, you said the magic word.
Yeah, one way to do that is to stop any development on Node.js, change the admin, and then a year after, resume the development on Node.js. And do the same thing as in Aspire from version 9 to 13, just to mention that so many features that you skip multiple versions.
Something to look forward to Orchard Core 4.0.
Go on, do that. I'm sure you can do that.
Yeah.
While you do your laundry up, you can start changing the admin. Yeah. Okay, done with the triage status. Did we say we had a demo? Yes, an update from Nick. Nick? Yeah, from Nick.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was only a small one. It was just based on our discussion that we had last week.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping it would be a bit further along and I would get it PR'd before this call, but it's been a hectic week. So let me just share my screen if that's okay. So what we talked about was the block picker, as we were calling it, obviously when we demoed it at Harvest. Obviously when we spoke about it last week, we kind of shifted it away a little bit from blocks because we realized that the bag part isn't related to widgets in any way. It's just literally a bag part just contains content types that users can select. So with that, I think one of the main sort of changes, I think, if I've got a kind of a demo here again, and this is where I'm at with it so far. You can kind of see we've got available items, and we've got a block quote, an image, and a paragraph. So this is just using the agency recipe, setup recipe in Orchard. So one of the things that we spoke about was having a part, maybe like a category part. I think there was some sort of this, we discussed about what we would sort of call it. And I think after I went away and had a look at it, I started to realize, because we were doing the sort of content types, and it was kind of almost became a content type picker almost, because I got a content item picker, but this is more of a content type picker. So rather than having a part that gets attached to a content item, sorry, content type, I thought it might be a better idea just to add the category and the thumbnail image to the content type definition or the content type settings, just like we have with stereotype. So we can see we've got the block quote here, and then we can just do put a category of demo in there. We save that, we go back, and then go to the new page, click that. You can kind of see then it's got the demo categories then kind of picked up in the content type picker. I haven't actually got it selecting yet because I've got a bit of a JavaScript issue going on. But yeah, so that was kind of really the main update, was moving away from a part that a user had to attach and just literally update the content type definition. I don't know how everybody feels about that.
Everyone is supposed to say I love it, and I'm supposed to say no, because that's my job.
Is that content part setting editor, or actually it's a content
it's the
type?
Content type.
It could be a content part setting, no?
Well, no, you can't do that. Can you? No, you can't. It's a content type setting will be defined on a type instance.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Yeah, but I think if you add the content part, like for example, let's call it block part, then that part can have a content part setting that's also displayed here, no? Or maybe I'm wrong, confused. So
yes, you can have content type setting, because the same way we do full text, the same way we do, right? So some things, so this page is extensible, yeah, with content type settings.
yeah, I'm just thinking about do we need to add category and thumbnail for content types where it's completely irrelevant? For example, I don't know, customer type of content types.
The other argument, the counter argument is, maybe if it was there, people could do more interesting things with it, like apply it in other places where you could not before, without relying on a custom part like block. Like in Audit Trail, in the drop-down that lets you filter by type, we could use this thumbnail as a small image to show the things, right? If it's not there, you have a random one, but at least now you know you can have one, so you will use it.
Actually convinced. Yeah, thumbnail is actually very generic category probably too.
So I'm not opposed to it, actually, because it's describing the thing. It's not providing a behavior, right? So it's just metadata to me. It's there, it's not there, that's fine. It will work if it should work if it's not there.
Yeah.
Like a stereotype.
Yeah, exactly that. So it's completely optional. You can just have it if you need it.
But that scares me that I'm not opposed to that. And
it's pleased me very much.
So the fact that what you said, Mark, is interesting, because when I saw that on the first screenshot, I'm like, it's like content types have part instances. But yeah, what you meant is exactly that. We already have part settings. These are the things like annotations on types that are optional. But yeah, here it doesn't need to be optional or driven by a module. Like, you don't want to see category and thumbnail only if you enable the module named, I don't know, blocks or whatever. No,
No,
we can say it.
This is part of the flow, the flow module, isn't it? So again, I've kind of referred to it as a content type picker because it's more of a generic term, I suppose, because it may be used in other places. At the minute, it's just used in the flow part, but it could be used in many places anywhere that you need to pick any type of content types.
Yep,
this might be useful.
Yeah, and some of these types, as the thumbnail, they use whatever they will render on the UI, but some other types, they might just use a generic icon.
That was another thing, whether like this was a thumbnail, but we could have an icon as well if needs be. I don't want to overcomplicate the UI too much, but it's one of those things that actually may be becoming useful, especially when we're talking about sort of UI enhancements. Having an icon there would be really useful. Same with almost like having a color picker for this content type as well. In the future, that might be something that we can help differentiate to the user. This is a certain type of content, and a color is almost an identifier as well.
What I've seen is icons property, where you can provide sizes and the icon related to the size, such that you can provide one thumbnail if you want, the big one, and then we have to zoom in, zoom out, or you provide a 16 by 16, a 48 by 48, and multiple values based on what you want to render, because you want different things based on the size, because it doesn't scale. Do we want that here? Maybe we could have one field that is actually a JSON stuff containing an array of icons, and then the UI will not be a text box, but an actual upload, like a media manager, an actual media manager for these things. But internally, it will be just an array of base64 values.
Do you want it to be like a unique icon, or could we just use something like Font Awesome that we already have included in the UI, and the user could just pick from that library? Because then it would scale to whatever we want, wherever it's needed.
And by the way, just to make sure I understand, this is instead of the thumbnail, or it's also an extra optional?
An extra, sort of an additional field, probably. I was thinking there. Yeah, the thumbnail is good for when you want a visual representation of whatever it is you're adding. I think when we demoed the forms module, when Alcuin demoed that, we actually had a version of the picker that just had icons, because it kind of made more sense to identify a field with an icon rather than an image. So it's thinking of that sort of flexibility, I suppose, and going back into here if you want.
What's the difference between an icon and an image?
Well, it's not really much difference, really. I suppose the icon that we used in the forms one was like a Font Awesome icon that got displayed. It wasn't an image. It was.
I see. Like a reference to a font. Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, with this one, as you can see here, if you had an icon, it would show an icon there instead, rather than the image. So, depending on what you're developing, you may not want to take screenshots of every content type in here, because that might be a bit too much work or not really needed, whereas an icon might just do the job for you. So it's having that flexibility.
Well, flexibility, but at the same time, users will then have to provide both an icon and a thumbnail.
It will handle it without. So, for instance, here I haven't provided an image for any of these, and if there was no icon, it would literally just display like this. I mean, at the minute we don't have any description text showing underneath here either. I didn't know whether that might be something that might be worth adding, but the point is the UI should sort of just respond. If it doesn't have that information, it just won't show it.
The description should be there in the content types. Is it?
Yes, we have a description for content type, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So icon, thumbnails with different sizes.
I have another question regarding, so I see that you replaced your block picker to Backport, which is great in my opinion, so that we utilize Orchard's feature. But will you make it default to pick such widgets or with a custom stereotype, or how do you think should be default, or something basically that lets the admin user or whoever puts together the content types and stuff will know exactly that if I configure this for the back part, I will be able to build my website with those blocks that you developed. Does it make sense?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, what we did last time, what we demoed was, it wasn't an additional part, it was just an editor for the bag part. So again, it wasn't any kind of custom field or custom part that we developed. It was using the bag part anyway. I think when we spoke about last week, I'm just going to the page a minute, we can have a look. How we then, when you add a bag part, for instance, I've got kind of had an idea. This is just a sort of an experiment with when we talked about, obviously it says add item and available items in the modal that shows up. Obviously we refer to things as blocks, so we think about the flexibility there and how if to give the user a way of customizing that type of text. So we've added like a button text, which I'll probably change it to content type picker button text or something. But this will allow the user to override what gets displayed there without having a different editor for it. And at the same time, we were going to have like a drop down whether to show it as a list or a modal picker. So that was kind of how you would get around that, so the user could really customize it to whatever they needed or wherever it's going to get displayed. Did that answer your question? I
think so, yes. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it still makes sense to have two editors, one for the standard way and this one with all the additional options as a separate editor.
Okay. So we said, okay, so the minute this was kind of like the standard one, I just extended that one, but you
Sure.
prefer it as a separate editor.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I mean, separate from Backport, or what do you mean?
No, in the Backport a second editor, one which has the add button, and the other one, the default, is still the old picker.
Oh, okay.
The drop down.
So yeah, that's
I mean, we can replace it. I'm fine either way. So.
You can change what standard means, but at least, well, not, yeah, maybe not at the beginning. Choose two dedicated options. Choose which one you want when you want to force it. The standard can have a default. It's funny, George, you will understand. Standard is like when you say bool parameter equals null, right?
Yeah.
And then you can decide to change the standard by changing what the null represents later. But if you set it like bool standard equals Trumbowyg, well, standard is Trumbowyg. You can't. It's a breaking change to change now that like it's still the same thing. Interesting. Okay. So two editors, and then standard can be whatever it is, like keep the one today. And then in a breaking change release, we can say now standard is the other one because we want the standard, right? And if you don't want that, you change it, you set it manually. You don't choose standard, you choose old one. I think we should have the type settings, actually. I'm back to the old things because it's getting complicated with icon, thumbnail, different sizes, and maybe it will help us like load the model only if we need it, instead of having it part of the content types. If we have like binary data on the thing, like whenever we want to load the content item, we need to load this content type, so we need to load its thumbnail in memory. What? So maybe it should be, it will help to make it lazy load, like get settings from the thing somehow. Like,
yeah, but these are in memory anyway. So.
I know, but
yeah.
But
yeah, I see what you mean. You're right.
These are in memory anyway. Yes, when we load them and they are loaded once, so at least that's fine. That part is fine. Yeah, you're right. It's cached, so maybe I should not care.
No, you should.
But if we transfer it, maybe it will be, I don't know, maybe to project it, or maybe it's easier. It can just be better. Maybe it will be a little bit more code, like get metadata or whatever, get settings of whatever, get thumbnail settings, get description settings. I know, but
I will continue and share where I am next week.
Awesome. Well, 2 weeks in a
Thank
row
you.
already. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To keep the ball rolling, the ball rolls and progress is done. And if you have questions, then we can answer and then block and everything. So that's great. Sharing back my screen. If no demo, we can look at ongoing PRs to see what's going on. Unless someone has a topic, a question, something to talk about, or PR to unblock. What's up in the PRs? What's up in the PRs? Oh, this one, let's talk about it because I put the label do not merge this way and the meeting is recorded so people can chime in later on. There was this PR this morning, when? 3 days ago, and I saw that this morning. I'm like, what is that? At Star History chat training. I'm going through my thoughts, like how they went historically. And Star History, oh, that looks nice, a Star History for GitHub. And I look at the file changed. And at first I'm scared and I look at the preview. And so this is changing the README to add this thing at the end. My first reaction is it's ugly. The style is on purpose, but to have in the README this big thing, personally, I don't like it. And I don't see the point of that thing. But that's not even my concern. So you can say whatever you want if you want. You can comment on if you think it's useful or not. The chart is nice. And actually, I went on the site, the Star History website, and you can add more things. And I even compared to other CMSs, .NET CMSs, and we fare the best. Like in terms of progress and number of stars, we have the best numbers. Okay, kind of makes me think like it's like a wanking affair. Like just look how beautiful we are, and you know, like it's great because if we just show a number like this, I mean, I can see the number, it's at the top, right? Oh, it's there, like somewhere on the home page. So what's the point of showing it in the chart? Yes, it's progressing. Maybe we want to show comparing to the others. But I don't want to do that. Like, I don't see the point. Like stars, like what does it mean? Show the forks, show the number of commits, show the number of PRs. It doesn't mean much. So, well, it's ugly. I don't think it's a good idea to display it. That's one thing. But that's not even why I put the block on the PR. I put the block on the PR because this looked like AI generated. And we do a lot of AI generation PRs, okay? So, but you don't do a test plan to, to add a chart to a README, which is a one-liner with a URL, right? So I looked into Chase, who I assume is a real person from what I've seen. But if you look at the commit history, it's been active a lot since September.
Is he doing the same thing in a bunch of different repositories?
That was my assumption, and then
Yeah.
look at it. And I thought actually it was about doing the same star history about everywhere, but no, it's doing actual different PRs about different things in different repositories, but it's definitely AI driven. It's maybe a bot that is doing all these PRs or not, because it's applied to any type of language, any type of technology, like tens per day. Okay, look at that. All these repositories are forks such that the tool can create PRs. This is in the lapse of 10 days, you have 40 forks. Okay, 43 repositories not shown aside of this list. You see 68 repositories in the month of August. And all of these are from all different languages, C++, Tech, TypeScript, all these things, okay? They are just random ones. Or maybe not so random because some of them have the, what's the tag? Good first issue, like this one, okay? Because I saw that when I clicked on some of them which were closed, because some of them are completely like useless. And most of them are closed because these repositories, they are just like playgrounds for some people. Like you, Benedek, you create a repo, you call it, oh, let's play with something. Let's play with a C# feature. And you create a file inside. And then someone will create a PR because it's missing a semicolon. And you're like, I don't care, it was just a test, right? It's working for me. So some of these repositories are like personal things or like tutorial stuff that don't need to be updated. And people close and say, why did you change that? How do you find it? There is no star, there is no user, it's just my own repository, it's public, that's it. So a bot is finding repository randomly and someone or something is creating PRs on it. So that's why I was like, I blocked it before I know better about this PR because I saw this pattern. It's like Oktoberfest, but in November. Well, this was in October, so maybe that's why there was a lot of in October, but it's also now in November. And you see, it's just repeating. So I don't want to encourage that behavior because it's just noise. We don't like noise. We spent 10 minutes already talking about this PR just because this is noise. And every single repository, they will spend at least 5 minutes to understand what is this PR? Why do I get a notification? Should I merge it? Some of them, they were merged and some people are happy, but I don't want to encourage that. And I think the reflex would be, no, let's close it because there is no effort here. It's about doing something that doesn't add much value. Though you could say there is an issue that is backlog, okay, to add the star history chart. And yeah.
Sorry, I'll finish it.
Nope.
If by a miracle, like Chase is watching this video and he's, like properly contributing to open source projects, then sorry, and I don't want to insinuate anything, but I actually read something about security hardening your GitHub organization and repositories, and it was about the fact that you can set up your repo or organization so that first-time contributors GitHub Actions workflows aren't triggered automatically. You need to approve them. But after someone has contributed to the default branch, then when they open a new pull request, then their GitHub Actions workflows don't require approval. So that's one of the configuration possibilities. And I read that this is kind of an attack vector for later. So you do something very simple so that you are approved, and then later on you try to do something down the line, like maybe a year later or whatever.
Bitcoins, and they will all
for
run
example,
repository. Interesting.
Yeah.
That
or
just
spamming, cracking attempts, DDoS, whatever.
So I think we have this, you see, approved workflows to run. We have that already. So that's good. Probably Zoltan did that. And okay, that I didn't think about this workflow vector. Thank you. Yeah, so that could be a reason to just say no because you have a pattern. If you come to the meeting and you show us you want to be active, yes. But from the history, I'm like random things right everywhere. So we happen to be one of them, but it's everything. And I looked at like, let's pick these clothes, for instance. You see all the same pattern, everything. And then Chase comments on some of the things, like when people ask questions. So he's following up, but it's definitely like picked up by. Look at that, 70 repositories in September. Like it's 70 repositories every month cloning. It's like, no, that's not human. Okay, and one of the reasons was like, oh, I just wanted to learn a language. No, you are learning like all the languages that exist. Okay, no, that's
He's
not
trying to keep up with all the JavaScript frameworks that are popping up.
Maybe, but even more than that. So no, it's really no. Okay, so we should not accept it, at least for that reason. I will comment about it. And I won't summarize because if this user already cares, I don't want to let them go away with 10 seconds reading a sentence. I want them to watch the meeting. Okay.
What about the issue? Should we close it as well?
So I was about to say, George, someone else is free to create a PR with the same change.
Do we really want this?
But personally, I don't want it. I think it's or maybe we can have a page like comparing these things in terms of commits, PR, stars, and like I'm sure the British here will find a better word than just like wanking. It's like wanking to me. Like I just
yeah.
Well, that's pretty British. So
how do we say that, Nick? Like I don't know. Just self-satisfactory stats like to show I'm the best. Look at that. I don't like it to show. What's the point?
Showing off?
Just showing the number of stars, this chart or whatever. I think it's. Yeah.
I think it could be useful for like marketing, especially if you're trying to start, you're trying to develop a system for somebody and you kind of want to prove that Orchard is the right platform.
Yeah.
Having these charts.
I would create a page called like CMS comparison, list the CMS, the features, and stars is one metric. You could see how many stars per things, how many commits, like how many contributors, all these things. Yeah, on a page. Under README, having this blob, this big chart here, I'm like, what? That's so maybe a different page.
Go to the website.
Marketing arguments, I'm not sure that's. It's still backlog, and I will leave it in backlog. And if one day we decide to work on it, we can. Or maybe it should be on the documentation site, right? Because yes, that is useful for people to list the features and to compare CMSs from our point of view, because you can find on the web, like comparing CMSs from other CMSs, like their point of view, like Orchard One, for instance. Oh, I have a story. I've mentioned that many times, but none of you probably were there. Antoine was there for sure. He was always there. But when 12, 13 years ago, the .NET blogs were rewritten completely out of another technology, there was a consultant that was hired to help the .NET team find what CMS, implement and find what CMS to use, right? And it's the .NET team. And at that point, there were DNN, .NET Nuke, Umbraco, Orchard in .NET. Umbraco and Orchard were the only one in MVC, and DNN was in web forms. So kind of technologically, you can't do a website with web forms. So DNN was kind of the opposite way. And the the consultant who made the study about comparing the CMSs was a WordPress consultant. So obviously, the result of the analysis about CMSs was that WordPress was the best at everything, which is probably true. But some things that they were saying were like, oh, Orchard doesn't have media management. And I'm like, what? You open Orchard, there is one big button called media, and you can upload the files, transform the files, like edit the files in line. Like the media management in Orchard 12 years ago was better than WordPress media management. Like they were saying like Orchard doesn't do that and that and that, or is lower than that or higher than that. Completely random stuff. So just saying that it might be good for us to just state what we think works and doesn't work for Orchard without letting everyone else decide what they think it does or does not, because problem with documentation, not visible, or maybe just not being honest with the thing and trying to push their thing, which I would understand, right? They are biased. So it's easy to think that there is no media management if you prefer not to find a media management somewhere. Yeah. That was my story. You should all use WordPress. That's what I'm saying. Now it's not, yeah, now it's still WordPress, but it's yet a different system. And still not .NET. Good, it's time. Questions? All good? I won't see you on Thursday. So this time it's Turkey Day on Thursday, so there is no meeting on Thursday, but next week we are back up, okay? So see you next Tuesday.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah,
Bye.
have a nice day. See you
Bye-bye.
next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers all. Bye.